series, you have a plan, right? What did, having actually played in the game, were there some things that you saw and kind of learned from that you take into game two?
Yeah, we had a game plan, and a few times, we didn't do exactly what we were supposed to do within the game plan, and we got a little outside ourselves of the game plan, and they made us pay for it.
JJ mentioned last round, I think the most game plan mistakes was probably game 5 at home. Obviously, you guys responded with a pretty good game 6. What's your level of confidence in the way that this team can come out of this and find solutions to what the problems were?
Very high. We started off great. We were doing very well. We were in the game. We held them to 101, 105-ish before late in the end. We plan to defend the champs. It's going to be tough. They're going to make some tough shots, some tough plays, and we just can't let that derail us, right? We got to stay with it. But I'm very positive in the way that the game plan is. Teammates, we're getting, Austin back in his groove and just getting guys back, right? So I'm definitely confident, but it's definitely going to be a challenge.
You guys, it's obvious you're missing 30-plus points a game from Luka. The scoring's got to come from somewhere, and at times in the first round, it was you and Luke. Obviously, also we know what he can do. Does that feel like the challenge right now for this group to figure out how to consistently score? Because defensively, it seems like that's been consistent in the playoffs. I
wouldn't say that's the main concern, because we can score the ball. We're going to score the ball, right? Just got to do it. I really miss some shots that he usually makes. I miss some shots I usually make. Bron, AR. I didn't play the best game. I know, defensively it was okay, but offensively 4 for 15, 2 for 8, right? That's unacceptable. I only had 2 turnovers, which is good, but I got to be better, and it starts with me. I take full accountability for it. I know I'm not the reason we lost, but I feel like, I could have gave more, and I got to be better. But we're going to make shots. It's just a matter of time. And we just got to continue to make sure we shoot them.
Marcus over here. You did a great job defensively on SGA tonight, especially calling for the blitz, and he forced him into some turnovers. I think he had some of the most turnovers, and you held him under 20. Is that sustainable for the rest of the series, or do you guys have to give him some other look to mix it up?
We're definitely going to give him some different looks. He's the MVP, defending champ, right? He's seen it all, right? And that's what makes him great, his ability to play through things that, other players probably couldn't, and, make those tough buckets, right? You can't really give him a steady diet of one thing, so we're definitely going to throw some things at him. But we just got to stay with the game plan, whatever that is for that game, and not worry about, them making shots, because it's going to happen, and just stick with it.
Marcus, Austin's still obviously working back from his injury, missing a long time. Just as a teammate, how do you kind of help him, if at all, like to kind of ramp up a little bit and get a little more comfortable and get back into his rhythm?
Just try to get him some easy shots, right? Do a really good job of putting him in spots to not only create for himself, but create for others as well. And just, talking to him. We understand that he's coming back. It's only his second game back with us, or third, sorry. But, we understand that. And we understand, it's going to take some time, but we're here. And that's why you got 4 of the guys out there with him to help pick him up.
Chet, defensively, what did you feel in that second half just allowed you guys to break the game open and hold them under 40?
Just making everything tough. They got good players over there. They're well coached, so they're going to run good stuff. They're going to execute well. It comes down to how well we execute and get our stuff in the game. We did a good job of that.
Chet, you think you're better just finding open spots, presenting yourself for open looks where they can find you this year than your previous years?
Yeah, I feel like it's a balance. One, me learning where the open spots are, and then 2, the team kind of learning to expect me to be there. It's a process. At first, you get to those spots and they're not expecting you to be there, so they're not, looking for it. But over time, we continue to communicate, talk, watch film, and they've been able to find me in good spots.
Chad, this is this has obviously been a much different season for you than last year was. How would you compare kind of your offensive game and the rhythm that you feel right now to last year during the playoffs?
Yeah, I feel like, I had some really good moments and stretches last year. But I feel like this year I just feel more consistent and kind of knowing what to expect, knowing what the games are going to look like, and like I was saying here, knowing where to be, when to be there. And then, I just feel kind of a lot better physically than I did last year. So, I feel confident in my body. I feel confident in, every step that I'm taking. So I just got to continue to keep getting better as these games progress.
Yeah, Chet, when you go into a series, first game one, do you have sort of a theory or a game plan of what it might look like or what might happen, what the Lakers might do? Or is it a blank slate? And if you do have an idea, how much was it different once you got into it on what was going on?
Yeah, we had a long time in between our last game, so you want to try and do your best to prepare for who you're going to be playing next. And once we knew that was the Lakers, we tried our best to not be surprised by anything. But at the same time, you can't get lost in that and forget about focusing on yourself and improving. And that's what we did in those practices this week. And then, no matter what you expect to happen in the game, you can only carry over what the game is showing you. They showed us some different looks out there on both ends of the floor. I feel like we adjusted well when they changed things up. But I feel like we've seen, a good majority of what you can do out there on the basketball court, so I don't think we're, surprised by anything.
Chet, Mark mentioned how Ajay Mitchell is an aggressive player, but he even has a better sense of when to be aggressive. I know he's still early in his career, but can you describe what you've seen out of the growth from him this season?
Yeah. It's hard to call it growth because, I think he showed up to our practice facility this good. Obviously he's continued to improve, work on his game, but he's really getting an opportunity to show his ability. He's taking full advantage of it. It's not surprising. He's a killer, and he was big for us tonight, big for us in the last series, and he's going to continue to be big for us.
Chet, pretty grinding game there, and you seem like you were locked in, but I took a moment there to kind of look at you and your reaction when Alex Caruso gets that dunk, and you just seem to really enjoy that. And in a game like this, it is such a grinder, and it's the second round of a playoff. Just how hard is it to step outside for just a second and still enjoy this game and see a guy like Caruso do what he did?
I feel like that's part of the game and competing, is being locked into those moments. And when you play with a group of guys that you genuinely care for, genuinely want to see succeed together, and you get a play like that, which is obviously a big play in the game. I feel like part of being locked in is that should make you feel something. You know what I mean? So, I was definitely juiced after that one.
Mark and Shai.
Go ahead, Justin.
My bad. Mark and Shai were talking about your motor and just your work ethic and how impressed they are by it. I'd imagine you don't really get like that unless you enjoy the process of working on your game. Just what is it about that you enjoy doing?
Yeah. I'd say part of it is really enjoying basketball, enjoying the lifestyle of playing basketball, not what basketball gives you, kind of just really feeding into the game. And then part of it is just understanding that you can't control what happens out there, who's on the floor, what's happening all the time, but you can control trying to prepare for every single situation. So I just try to prepare for what I'm going to see out there, and continue to work on my game in every area that I want to improve, and then trying to put my imprint on the game in that way while also focusing on what we're trying